Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living Weekly Live broadcast. Today is Sunday, June 12th of 2022. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. And as I say that, it really hits me. Today's topic is about aligning your life and your living with the passion and purpose that you feel in your heart, the longing, the yearning you feel in your heart. And this is exactly what we're talking about in the Community for Conscious Living, personal transformation for universal harmony. Those inspired changes, the ones that we feel as a part of our inspiration, aligning our lives so that we are truly living according to what our hearts yearn for. And I want to share with you a little bit today about my own personal awakening, because this was a really big deal for me. I had a totally spontaneous spiritual awakening, unexpected, out of the blue, was not in any kind of seeking context or anything of that nature. In fact, I was in a week-long conference when I was in the high-tech world or the technical field. I was in a week-long conference learning about this new thing that was coming into local area networking called TCP/IP. If any of you are tech savvy, you know that that's something we take for granted these days. It was new then. And I went to a week-long class to learn about it, and it was in the midst of that. Actually, first day of that I had this totally out of the blue, spontaneous spiritual awakening that was epiphany, like after another for a solid week, and completely changed my life, completely changed the way I see the world, completely changed the way I feel, the things I yearn for, everything, totally turned everything upside down. And yet when I went home after that week of being in that class, I went home, I was a completely changed person from the inside, but I was back in the same job, living with the same partner, had the same friends, doing the same things, the same routine, the same habits, the same everything. And none of it felt right anymore. And honestly, it's been ongoing. It's been 30 plus years by now. And though initially the changes that I had to make were pretty drastic, now it's the subtle things. It's the subtle things that come up that I'll hear a little voice or I'll feel a little inkling of something. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's not really on track. What do I need to do to shift this and to align this and to bring it into connection and into service with the passion and the yearning and the truth that I feel in my deep heart? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Whether you're at the beginning of that journey for yourself, where you're making the drastic changes, the obvious changes, or whether it's the subtle, we're going to talk about how to shift these things in your life so that you are truly living aligned with your passion and purpose and your heart's desires and longing. And so that you really can also have lots of compassion and mercy for yourself as you're going along this process. All right, so let's go ahead and come into our meditation and healing circle. Let's come into our circle sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one, in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Let's bring all of our senses, our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, our hearts, our bellies, our solar plexus, our hips, our everything. Bring everything to face toward the center of the circle. Let's come together as one heart, one body, one focus, and call on our source. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you. We ask you to send your vibration of your pure divine light. Let's just feel this pure divine light streaming into the center of our circle. And just feel this light streaming in. Feel it if you can. Sense it. Imagine it. You may have to call on your imagination, and that's fine. And just imagine this pure, bright, purifying, brilliant light streaming into the center of our circle. And imagine this light just shining on your skin. And imagine this light streaming and shining on your face and on your arms and on your entire body. And you know that when you feel that sunshine and it feels so good, and that warmth, it's the perfect temperature. Use your imagination. And it's shining on you. And allow this light to penetrate through your skin, like to fall on your skin and to penetrate through and to fill your body with this warmth. And this is a cleansing, purifying, warming, gentle vibration, and let it penetrate through all the way into the core of your body, all the way into the core, and let yourself just draw it in with your intention. Draw this light in, allow it to fall upon you and penetrate into you and cleanse and purify all of the pathways along that travel, if you will, travel in, purifying all the way through. And what is it purifying? Right? Light is illuminating. And illuminating means it is shining light on those places that maybe they've been in the shadows, maybe they've been ignored, maybe they've been things that are lingering and hanging out in your subconscious that you're not aware of. So illuminating means bringing knowledge and awareness to. So light brings knowledge and awareness to those places inside yourself. And this is what allows you to have choice over them, to have clarity, to have discernment, and to make clear choices. Right? And your being has wisdom beyond your mind, your mental, let me sit down and analyze and figure this out capacity. So just let your inner wisdom, the wisdom of your spirit, of your spiritual being, of your living consciousness that carries intelligence and wisdom of the divine, let that part of you experience this light. It can make decisions a lot faster than your mind and a lot more clearly than your mind. So let this part of you sense that light and just allow anything, the more you can do without having to sit and figure it out, the better. The knowledge will come to you. But just as when you were a child, my teacher used to say, be like the child. And if you've been around children lately, children have a curiosity. They don't know everything like we do, right? They haven't figured everything out and made their opinions about it, or anchored anything into, solidified what they're going to believe about everything just yet. Some things they have, but not everything. So to be like the child means that you go into a situation with inquiry, not knowing, not solidified in your beliefs, but in observation as a witness, in inquiry. what can be discovered, what can be learned, what can be experienced, what can you learn that you haven't yet known, because we don't know it all ever. We don't know it all ever. And some of the things we learned before and made decisions about and concreted into our pillars aren't relevant anymore. And we can let those be changed and transformed and transmuted as we observe. And just observe, okay, as this light comes in, what new facets of this jewel does it want to shine upon and teach me about this thing I thought I knew? And allow yourself to be taught, to be illuminated, and to transform your beliefs, or for your beliefs to be transformed. And let yourself be the living consciousness, and allow these shifts to take place within your living ocean. There's a Rumi poem, my favorite Rumi poem these days, still is. If you've been here for the last several months, this has been my favorite for a while now. It is the Rumi poem that says, "These forms we seem to be, what we think we are cups floating in an ocean of living consciousness. Too near to see, though we swim in it and drink it in." This is the ocean of living consciousness. We think we are the forms when truly we are open cups. And this living consciousness flows in and out and through these open cups. And truly we are the living consciousness. What we are is ocean. Too near to see, though we swim in it and drink it in. And he says, don't be the cup with the dry rim. Don't be the cup with the dry rim. We are the living consciousness. So allow the light of this living consciousness to move through your vessel and through your inner ocean and your outer ocean, and just to flow and illuminate. And allow yourself to be the witness of this illumination, and to learn, to experience, and to be transformed by the knowledge that comes to you. The divine name of this light is Ya Nur. Ya means oh, it is invoking. The light is Nur. Nur. N as in Nancy, you are Nur. Right? That is the manifest embodiment of the radiant of divine light. The radiance of divine light. Right? When you break that name into its sound codes and explore the meanings of the sacred sounds, this is the manifest embodiment of the radiant light of Source. Ya Nur, Ya Nur. The light shines upon and gives light to the images. So we see the images in this material realm. And the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Together, let's call on our Source. We call on you. We ask you to send your vibration of your unconditional love. Your unconditional love. Ya Wadud. Ya Wadud. And just imagine, feel, experience this pure, unconditional love, this vibration streaming into the center of our circle. And bring your heart center. There's a funnel of energy that extends from the front of your heart space. Bring that to face into this center of our circle, and let this funnel tip up slightly. So this gentle waterfall of unconditional love is streaming down into that funnel at the front of your chest, and streaming in through that funnel into your heart center. And use your breath. Let your breath be like a breathing portal, and inhale in that vibration of unconditional love and let it come in all the way into the center of your heart space. And as you exhale, just blow out any of the tension, any of the constriction, the clutter, the cobwebs, the dust. Just let them be cleansed from your heart center. As you inhale in this vibration of unconditional love, this is the vibration of love that exists and is unchanging, ever present, ever existing, regardless of what conditions we put on love. The only conditions that get put on love are based on our own decisions as to whether to give it or receive it. Love is love is love, right? Is the title of the book. The answer is love. Questions to explore as we transition into an era of peace, into living in peace and unconditional love and universal harmony as we make that evolution of human consciousness. We make that transition. The love is the love is the love. What transitions is our connection with it, our resonance with it, our resistance or surrender to it. That is what shifts as we evolve our consciousness to live in alignment with love. So allow this love to stream in through your heart center. Inhale it in, and with each inhale, draw it in deeper and deeper and deeper into your heart center. And as you exhale, just blow out any of the constriction, the clutter. As the poet Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So let this love just flow through those barriers. Those barriers cannot stop the love, especially if we say, okay, I know I've got these blocks and barriers here, but I'm inviting this love to flow through, around, any which way you need to reach the depths of my heart. And for any of those blocks, barriers, dust, cobwebs, any of that you can wash away as you exhale, just let them be washed away. And call on your source, call on your angels, your guides, your teachers, your healers, your helpers, all who are here to help and support your journey. Call on them now and ask them to help you to let go of the blocks and barriers, to release from your heart and blow them out. Let them go. And with each inhale, let this pure divine light come in deeper. Let this unconditional love come in deeper into the center of your heart. And as you exhale, just let yourself drop down and land into your physical space. And just let yourself lean back toward your spine, right? You've got a vertical core of your body that, just imagine this core of light that runs through the top of your head, and it moves all the way along through your body vertically. So it streams through the top of your head and through your head and through your neck and throat, and then all the way through the core of your body along the front of your spine, like halfway front to back, halfway side to side along your body vertically, and all the way through your base, like through your heart space, through your solar plexus, through your belly, through your base, through your hips, all the way through your body. And let your conscious body lean back so that you're like standing and leaning in that stream of light as it streams through your body. And let this waterfall of light and love stream in through your heart space and gently shower you within this stream of light at your core with pure divine light and unconditional love. And just know that this pure divine light and unconditional love already exists and flows through your core. So this is like the outer flowing through your heart to meet the inner. It's connecting your outer heart with your inner heart. It's connecting your outer consciousness with your inner consciousness. And let those two parts of yourself meet. Let them meet, let them resonate and flow together and vibrate together, right? Until there is no inner and no outer, there is only one, right? There is no cup, there is only ocean. Take a deep breath, breathe that in, and breathe all your energy into the core of your body. And as you exhale, drop down and land into your hips, into your pelvic bowl, and feel this waterfall, this gentle waterfall of pure divine light and unconditional love streaming over you and gently showering you. And let your body be like a sponge and absorb it in, absorb it all the way into your core. And let's call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call on you. We ask you to send your vibration of your eternal compassion. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahman. That radiance of the light of source, breathed through the breath of spirit into this fluid existence, to be manifest in this material realm. This is eternal compassion. It is what emanates from source to birth all of this creation. It is the womb which contains all of this creation. It is the ocean of living consciousness that we exist in and subsist in, and that makes up the core of who we are. Compassion, eternal, unending, unconditional compassion. And let this be like an ocean that surrounds you and comes up around you and supports you and holds you and contains you. Let this be the ocean, gentle ocean, that you rest into. So again, let your body be like a sponge and absorb this ocean all the way into the core of your body and into every cell of your body, into every fiber of your being. Let yourself absorb this ocean, gentle ocean of compassion. Back to Rumi. The poet Rumi says, "You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop." You are the living consciousness within your open cup. You are the ocean within your drop. So let every fiber of your being, every cell of your being, every drop absorb and be the ocean. Be the ocean. And let yourself be held, contained, nurtured, supported by this ocean of living consciousness, the eternal compassion, the womb, the cosmic womb of our creation. Ya Rahman, the eternal compassion. And eternal just means that it exists from beyond this realm of time and space. It comes from the realm beyond our constructs of time and space. And it holds and contains this entire realm of time and space. Compassion. And breathe that in. Breathe that in. Now, I promised you I was going to tell you a little bit more about my spiritual awakening that I had. This was back in my high-tech days. I was working for a high-tech corporation in a computer field. And how long ago would that have been? About 30 years ago, I guess. And this, I was in a class. I had left town to go to a class to learn about this new thing in local area networking that was coming out. I won't get too technical for you, but if you've heard of it, it's called TCP/IP, and it was new, or not really new, but it was coming into common use in local area networking at that time. And I went to learn about how it was going to be used and how it was going to impact what we were working on. And I was in this class, and I overheard someone talking on the phone from another part of the country. And last minute, he had been chosen to come to this class because the person who was supposed to come had a family emergency. And this class was in Dallas, Texas. So he last minute flew in and got a hotel that was right across the street from the education center. And across the street, his company thought, okay, you can just walk across the street. We don't need to rent you a car. But across the street turned out to be the outer loop of Dallas, which is like a 8-lane double-decker highway. And the crossroad, even if he would have wanted to cross it, was, he was like right in the middle between exits. And so trying to walk across that was not going to be an easy thing. So he was calling his company saying, hey, I need to rent a car because I can't walk. And so, I overheard him talking as I was there in the break room on our first morning break. And I said, when he hung up the phone, I said, hey, I have my car here and I have to pass by your hotel on my way to and from. I'd be happy to give you a ride if your company can't give you a car. And, he says, well, okay, I'll check back with you at the end of the day. I said, okay, great. So at the end of the day, sure enough, he, didn't have a car yet. So I gave him a ride to his hotel, and we were sitting and talking as before he went in, and decided there was a restaurant right there, decided to have a bite to eat and, just talk. No love interest there or anything like that. It was nothing like that at all. We just decided okay, yeah, sure. We're, 2 people out of town, we'll sit and talk. And so we were having dinner at this little restaurant, and there was only one other table that had, was hardly anybody in there, only one other table. And as we were sitting and talking, this was a shared experience, mind you. We both experienced the same thing at the same time. Suddenly, it was like we were pulled out of our bodies, sucked through a sieve. That's the best way I can explain it, what it felt like. It was like being sucked through a sieve and pulled out of our bodies. And suddenly, it's like we were in the same body still, but we were in different bodies. We were in the same place, but totally different surroundings. So it was like there were several different, let me just say, this happened multiple times in that evening. It happened multiple times throughout the week, every single day of the time that we were there in that class together. And it was like we knew each other every time. No matter what body he was in or I was in, we knew each other. We knew about each other. We knew about where we were. And there was one time where he was an older white man and I was an older Native American man, and we were sitting in this desert and we were friends and we were, just sitting together in that time. There was another time where I was a woman about in my 30s. I had long black hair. I had 3 children, and he was a man. I don't know if he was the father of my children or the husband or whatever, but we were in a house. I recognized the house. And it went on and on and on like that, time after time after time after time throughout the whole week. And it was learning so many things about, it it was, I see, I lose the words even now, because what is even more important than the experience of what we saw and felt and experienced inside of ourselves about the surroundings and who we were and the surroundings we were in and how we know each other. It was more about this infusion of love and this experience that all of this world around us isn't real. And it is so, what I experienced is the beings between the realms. There was one time after I had dropped him off, I went to the grocery store, and all of my senses opened up, and I could see all of these spirits moving in and around and through people. I could hear the voices from inside of people. I could see the faces and the scars and the wounds. And if I hadn't been in that pure love state, I would have been terrified, right? And I was even in that state of, I wonder if other people can see what I'm seeing. And then my logic said, no, certainly they can't, because they'd be running screaming right now if they could see that. And then I looked over and I saw, the cashier talking to a customer, and they were laughing and talking. And I was and then I could see them, just them. And I was okay, that's, I think, what most people see and what I'm certainly used to seeing. But what I recognized and still feel to this day, though sometimes I feel it more than others and remember it more than others, is that the unseen realms have much more impact and influence over our material experience than does our material. And it is much more significant than the material. And so that completely changed my life forever. And after spending a week in this epiphany state, and I'm not kidding, this is just one more thing that was just felt so exquisite, amazing, is there was a time where I was sitting there in the class and I was listening to the class, but I could feel sound and music moving through me. And I knew if I had been sitting at a piano, I would have been playing this incredible symphony. It would have just been masterpiece flowing through. And it was exquisite. And so it was just, it was one of those experiences I will cherish forever. And I've had different experiences since then, but I'll be honest, I haven't had anything like that since. But I have had some pretty darn incredible experiences since then. That is what eventually led me on a path of exploration, a path of seeking, and eventually led me to meet my spiritual teacher, who then took me to some crazy places in the cosmos where I could experience life in the unseen realms that are just amazing, and feel the flow of love. When I talk about at the beginning of these meditations about the divine light, the unconditional love, the eternal compassion, feeling that, letting that vibration move through you, breathing it in and letting it flow through you, letting yourself immerse into it and be the sponge that absorbs it into every cell and every fiber of your being, so that you be it be you. There is no separation. There is no difference. This is that exquisite experience that whether you're in the ocean, whether you're in the cosmos, whether you're in the physical body, no matter what, you can have this experience at any time. And sometimes I'll admit it's easier sometimes than others to tap into it, but we have it. It is us. It is who we are. It is what this world is, right? We get squeezed into this tiny body and into this consciousness that's got little portals that we can see through and experience life through. And it veils us to this larger reality, or veils us from this larger reality. But the larger reality is still there. We're just covered over with veils while we're here. And so after having this exquisite experience, I went back home. And I was still living with the same partner. I was still expected to, go to the same job and have the same friends and do the same things and live the same life that I'd been living before. But I had no interest at all, none at all, in living that life. It just felt so empty and so meaningless and so out of sync. And the interesting thing was that I recognized I still had intense programming. And I would get into situations and know that, well, I don't want to be a part of that. And yet I would just witness my body, my habits, my words, my actions, everything was going right in step with what it used to do. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute now. Wait, we know better. Why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? What are you doing? It's like, and so it's been a long time of unprogramming, of like releasing the programming, and I'm still doing it. Now, initially, and as in fact, this is what really, I don't claim any, like I did this, but I was seeking, and I kept bumping into walls of like, well, that kind of fits with what I'm looking for, but then I'd run into a wall. No, not really. That kind of fits with what I'm looking for. Maybe if I can take this belief here and that belief there, then this will fit. But no, not really, And then I had an experience with this one charismatic Christian church that I'd gone to, and it was not saying that all of them are like this, but I kind of bumped heads with the pastor there and ended up leaving and saying, okay, I can't be a part of this anymore either. And I found myself that night at home in my room on my knees, calling out for help and saying, I just need someone to come and take me by the hand and help me through this, because I don't want to live the way I'm living. I want to live with what's in my heart. I want to live what's in my heart, and I can't do it on my own. I need help. And in that instant, they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I got this incredible download and this presence that came. And this presence started teaching me about healing, teaching me about energies, teaching me about all of the ways that we hold our experiences of life in our physical tissues, in our psyche, in our hearts, in our emotions, in our patterns. As I started teaching me about all of this and how to unravel it. How to release it, how to forgive it, how to forgive other people, how to forgive myself, and how to let it all go and fall into alignment and surrender and service to my heart, to what had been unveiled for me from within my heart. And eventually, a year, maybe a little more later, as this being stayed with me and continued to teach me, I was so grateful. I met this being in physical body. Who knew that was going to happen? I met him in physical body, and he was my teacher. I walked in the door. He was sitting on the floor in the corner of a room with a lot of people around him. And he looked up and he saw me. When I walked in the door, it was like my heart just cracked open and melted, and it just flooded onto the floor. And he saw me and he motioned with his hand for me to come up to the front. And I was like, who, me? And he shook his head and motioned again. And I went and sat in front of him, and, he asked me, he said, beloved, what is in your heart? English is not his first language. And I was terrified, of course. My outer being was like, I don't know, maybe he sees all of that darkness and misalignment and all that fear. And I said, I don't know. And he said, deep, deep longing for God. And he held my hands and he said some prayers in Arabic. He was from a Palestinian man from the Middle East, a Sufi master and guide and teacher and healer. And he said some prayers and he put his hands on my head and said some prayers. And then again, my feet didn't touch the ground for a week. I was flying. I was floating. I was just having another one of those experiences that I'll never forget and struggle to put into words. This one even more so. And I became my teacher. He had been my teacher, but in body, my teacher in that moment. And I studied with him for almost just under 20 years before he passed away from that point. And he passed away in 2015. So there's more about my life story than I intended to tell here, but I get swept away. This is my heart's passion, my heart's love, my heart's desire. And I've studied Sufism with him for this whole time. And I still can call on him. He still, can bring his presence to guide me. And I am forever grateful of that. So he has taught me and given me many tools to help to align my outer habits, behaviors, beliefs with the yearning I have in my heart, the yearning for love, the yearning to be in service, the yearning to follow the passion that, as we've said before, as we've been talking about these last few weeks, that passion that is breath of spirit that breathes through your heart and fans that flame of inspiration inside of you saying, hey, this is me. This is me wanting to express myself through you and allow you to experience me through your life in this material realm. That's what I believe. I believe that passion and that inspirations that we have is God's way of saying, I live in you and through you, and here's what I want to experience and express today. Here's what I want to experience and express today. So I think this is a good time to go to that reading, because the reading starts with a very important message. So let me go to the reading and read from The Answer is Love, Questions to Explore as we Transition into an Era of Peace. This is from section 4 on Passion and Purpose. And this is question 4. And it starts out with, I know I want to be a good person and do the right things, but I keep falling into old habits and patterns from before I knew better. How can I live in a way that aligns with my heart's desire, that longing for purpose, that passion inside, the inspiration that you feel? And the response is, beloved, be patient with yourself. Have mercy for yourself. Forgive yourself. The transformation from slumber to full awakening does not happen overnight. It is a journey. At each step of the journey is embedded teachings, opportunities for you to know yourself, to know me and my love. Patience, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, and love are keys. Right? Those are the keys. Patience, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, self-love. These are the keys. You will never complete or perfect this journey, but the more you travel with awareness, sincerity, intention for self-discovery, and deepening consciousness of your connection with me, the easier it gets for you to live from your heart in service of your inner knowing aligned with your truth. Be a witness to your own journey. Explore your own depths and let the knowledge of yourself unfold before you and within you. You will find the love. You will find me. Be patient, be kind, be compassionate, and forgiving of yourself and others, and you will be guided to that path. The path will straighten and narrow to guide you along your truth, to live your truth. But it is, though it straightens and narrows, it is the most expansive, open, and freeing journey you can know. Love is the pathway. Put one foot in front of the other and stay the course. I am with you every step. You do not have to be right or perfect first. I am here now. I am here now and in every moment. Love is the answer. Love is the key. Love is the doorway, the key, and the pathway. Love is containing everything. Love is loving. Love is love. Love is the answer. So let yourself just sit with that. Rest into this ocean of eternal compassion and unconditional love. And again, let it absorb into every fiber of your being. And just notice, just invite all of those places that have felt out of sync with your purpose, those times where you catch yourself falling into that, dang it, that's not what I want to be living here. I want to be living this exquisite passion and purpose and love that I know. What the heck am I doing over here? All of those places, those are all parts of the self. And they're meant to be, right? They're meant to be. They have opportunity to teach the soul and to teach you for the evolution of your soul. So invite those places to just bubble up to the surface as you rest into this ocean of unconditional love and eternal compassion. And just witness them. Witness them. And again, self-forgiveness, self-compassion, self-acceptance are keys. They are your keys. So as these things bubble up, just let them kind of float out in front of you. And let them be also immersed in this ocean of unconditional love and eternal compassion. Let them be purified with this pure divine light. If they're ready to release and for you to be realigned, that's beautiful, and allow that to happen. And if they're not ready, that's okay. Just allow them to be held in love. And allow yourself to be held in love and immersed in love. And let's just call on forgiveness. Let's call on the vibration, the energy of forgiveness. Forgiveness is an action and a state. So there is forgiveness of the situation and all of the happenings, the things that happened. This is the divine name of Ghaffar. 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 And that's like excavating the old stuff and just letting the light come to it, right? And letting the light shine on this old stuff and allow it to be just illuminated by this light so that you can see the truth and let the truth just transform it, right? Let that fire touch into those places and illuminate and let this light penetrate and move through, right? So that you can kind of see the truth of it all and forgive it. And your mind doesn't have to see it first. Remember, it's not a seeing from the mind. It is of the consciousness. It's forgiving what happened on this material realm. Ya Ghaffar. Ya Ghaffar. Ya Ghaffar. And it's forgiving yourself for the ways that you still continue to fall into the old habits, patterns, beliefs, or the confusion you still feel around some of it. There's a lot of confusing issues that are being brought to light in our world right now. You can maybe see both sides, right? And then there's one side, another side, another side, another side, and somewhere in there's a truth. So just let Ya Ghaffar, let it illuminate and let that fire cleanse and purify the incongruent energies. And let the light, the radiance from the light illuminate the truth. Ya Ghaffar. Ya Ghaffar. It's opening, it's cleansing, it's illuminating, right? And it's excavating that old stuff, opening, purifying, illuminating. Ya Ghaffar. On the surface level. Ya Ghaffar. And just let the vibration of those sacred sound codes that make up Ya Ghaffar, let them travel through that ocean of love and compassion and just penetrate, surround, hold those places of incongruence, we'll call them. Those places of incongruence, just let them be held in this ocean of light and love and compassion, and let the vibrations of Ya Ghaffar move through them, excavating, opening, purifying, illuminating. Let all of that just move through, moving through. And then we'll call on the forgiveness of Ya Ghaffur, Ya Ghaffur, Ya Ghaffur. That's very similar, but this is really letting this excavating and opening and purifying, and the is taking it into the deeper levels of the soul, right? So it's illuminating the life lessons for the soul so that the soul can integrate the teachings, the information, and evolve. Ya Ghaffur, Ya Ghaffur, Ya Ghaffur, Ya Ghaffur, Ya Ghaffur, Ya Ghaffur. It is the forgiveness that illuminates into the layers of the soul so that the life lessons and soul teachings can be integrated and the soul can evolve. Evolve. We come here to learn and to grow. Let the soul evolve. Ya Ghaffur. Ya Ghaffur. Ya Ghaffur. Ya Ghaffur. Ya Ghaffur. And we can call on Ya Afu. Very similar Afu, but instead of the Ga, it's the Ah. Ah. Ga. Ah. So it's the Afu. 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 It still has that, like that excavating, that reversal effect, and that purifying and opening. And the ooh is moving through that portal and transforming, and it's returning back to that state as you were in the world of pre-eternity, right? The pre-eternal, this realm that we're in is the time and space. You come into this time and space as a pure being with all of the knowledge intact in your vessel. And then you forget all of that as you travel along this world and you take on all the meanings from the world, right? But before that, you were that being, before any of these wounds, before the confusion. And that afu takes you through that portal back to that realm of the pre-eternal, before any of the wounds. And you have the evolution of your soul. You have the knowledge, and your being can exist without the wounds. Afu, 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 ya afu. So the Ghaffar is forgiving and releasing what has happened on this material plane. The Ghaffur is the integrating the life lessons and the soul teachings, evolving the soul. And the Afu is returning to that state as you were in the realm of the pre-eternity. And we call on one more, Tawwab, 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 which brings you back to this realm, the Taw, it's got that W in it, and it's taking you again through that portal, and the B is this focal point where this creation emerges into the material realm, and it's returning you back to your natural rhythm. Tawwab, 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 right? And this is, I know that's a lot, so please play with these sound codes. I'll write them all out when I put them on the blog. Gotta admit, I didn't know prior to coming in to this session that we were going to use these particular divine names today, but they're perfect for this practice. Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Afu, Ya Tawwab. It's a series of forgiveness and returning. Forgiveness and returning. Forgiveness, evolution of the soul, returning. And it's a cycle of the evolution of our beings on this earth journey. It's when, we're here to explore, we're here to forget and then explore and make what feels like horrible mistakes, and sometimes minor mistakes, sometimes major mistakes, but we're here for that purpose. It feels like mistakes to us, but it's in the divine orchestration, the divine plan, and our ways to not spiral into I'm bad, I'm horrible, this life sucks, and da-da-da-da-da, is through this cycle of forgiveness, right? The Tawwab, returning you to your natural rhythm. The Ghaffar, the Tawwab is like a remorse also. So it can come at the beginning, it can come at the end, but it's all a cycle. So there's really no beginning, no end, right? The Tawwab, the Ghaffar, the Ghafur, the Afu. Tawwab, Ya Tawwab. These are all attributes of the divine that are inherent in the existence of your consciousness. You know them inside yourself, and when you call on them, invoke them, act through them, and experience them, your entire being knows them and shifts on a very internal, eternal realm within yourself, and it realigns you with the depths of your knowing of this eternal reality, that which you are, that living consciousness, the ocean within your drop, that with which you are eternally connected that which you are one with. Okay, so breathe that in, let that move through you and cycle through. And let's take a breath and just breathe, inhale, breathe all of your consciousness into the core of your being, into your core, that core of light we talked about that runs through the top of your head and all the way along the front of your spine and through your base. Breathe all of your consciousness into that space. And as you exhale, drop down and land into your pelvic bowl. Inhale, draw all of your energy in. Exhale, drop down and land into your pelvic bowl. Inhale, draw all your energy in. Drop down and land into your pelvic bowl. You can feel, kind of wiggle your toes and stretch out your feet. Feel your feet on the earth and your presence in your body. And I will open for Q&A. If you're on the phone and you want to share something or ask a question or receive support, press star 2. If you're on the webcast, you can type in, and I'll close. For people who are listening to the recording, you're invited to join us live on Sundays at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information for joining the calls at communityforconsciousliving.com, communityforconsciousliving.com. While you're there, sign up to receive reminders and replays of our events. And when you do, I will send you a free gift, actually 2 free gifts. One is a one-sheet that is just a reminder of who we are and what this world is about. The other one is a 15-minute downloadable meditation you can use as a part of your daily practice to help you stay aligned and in tune with this light and love and compassion that you are at the depths of your being. Again, of course, set your reminder and join us live here on Sundays. Okay, I thank you very much for being here. I'm going to turn off the recording and open for the Q&A.